Shalom, daughters of Zion. Shalom, YouTube. This is Sister T, and welcome again to the ride. Okay, so normally I would tell you, I have a short video for you answering the question. Well, I can't really tell you how long this video is going to be, but I am answering questions once again. So this particular video pertains to polygyny, and I'm going to do it a little different than I've done polygyny videos in the past, where I'm either answering other people's questions or I'm just addressing, certain issues, and that's it. I'm going to try to address this topic based on the questions I've been asked, based on my experiences, because I do have experiences. I do not share to everyone, but for those who know me and our family a little bit more personally knows, as well as not just my personal experience, because I have personal experiences, but also we are close friends with polygynous families as well. And there's things that we've learned, we've seen. So, those things I'm able to share. And then I hope toward the end of the video maybe give some tips, I guess you can say, that can help some of daughters of Zion who is seeking polygyny, who wants to be in a polygynous family. The questions you should ask, because one of the things that I know is people are not asking enough questions to get to know the families that they want to join. They don't not ask enough questions, and they have way too many assumptions, and these assumptions are causing issues. But that'll be later on talked about in the video. Okay, so this question I have for number one, a person was asking us a question on the progression in our family, as far as have we expanded yet? Have we found polygyny yet? And that's because they've known for years. They've known us for a while. They've known for years that we are a polygynous family. We believe in polygyny. We live it. We live biblical polygyny. There's a lot of polygyny out there, and all of it ain't biblical. Not every family lives a biblical polygynous lifestyle. They live in polygyny, but not biblically. They have their own rules, laws, and regulations. As far as our family is concerned, we live based on the Bible. Our household is ran based on the Bible. Our belief system is ran based on the Bible and the vision that the Most High Yah has given to my husband, to my master, of how to run his family, and the mission and the vision that the Most High Yah have put in my husband's hands to execute, as far as just everything in life, community here on the rock, just how to run the family, how to run a community, growing food, and different things that we are doing in our lives, and that's the program that we are going to stay on. Our program is, we are Hebrew Israelites, or Hebrews and Israelites, and we are going to live biblically, and things here in our life, whether it be as far as community is concerned, or whether it be as far as polygyny is concerned, is going to be ran biblically. And that's not a direction or a path that anyone, is going to sway us from, and sway the head of our household, the priest of my home, which is my husband, from. So with that being said, and there's a reason why I mentioned that, because believe it or not, we have been in situations, or my husband, my master, been in situations where there was women who showed interest in him, far as polygyny is concerned, as far as joining our family. And one of the things common that we had noticed were people trying to take him off the path that the Most High Yah has given him on, wanting him to compromise for them, sway, try to change the direction he was going in for them, so they can be more comfortable, or so they can get the fulfillment they want from polygyny, and not realizing, like, no, we live what the Bible says, and his first and number one obligation is the Most High. I don't even try to take him off that path. I know the responsibility that he has in his hands, and no one comes before Yah when it comes to my master. No one comes before Yah when it comes to me. We have order in that. And so a lot of times we've noticed there's people who is not really in the way like that, or they say they're Israelites, but they're not really serious about the Most High Yah. So then they want to come into your family and they want to change things. They want you to compromise in things. And basically what they're telling you is they want to be more important in the eyes of the man than the Most High Yah is supposed to be. They don't want to be in their place. They want to be above that. And that's not what we're about. That's not where anyone's going to be. I'm not above the Most High Yah in my master's life, and neither will anyone else be. So I would like to put that out there. Also, we've gotten an email of a few sisters, and this has been happening. I mean, in a span, more recently, in the past 6 months, I mean, emails have come in quite a bit of women who showed interest in my master as far as polygyny. And the reason I'm here to talk about it, not only was I asked the question, but this is something we were seeing a lot, where women are interested in my master and they want to join our family, or they want to get an idea of what my family's about. And the moment my master mentions anything about, yes, I would like you to talk to my wife, not because I'm running things. If anyone knows Follown Yahshua, I'm not running nothing. He's a man. He runs his own house. But the main thing is, the reason he wants women to also talk to me is because, you know what? He has a vision. And in this vision that the Most High God is giving him, he has a lot on his plate. And women and sisters have to come together. They have to work together. We don't believe in this polygyny where we are separate, individual family, individual people, and the man got to figure out who he's going to spend time with at any given time. No, we're all a family unit. Yes, the woman being, first wife, second wife, in that context, are both married to the man individually as far as their own covenant is concerned, but we're all one big family. And the sisters will be around each other more than a lot of times even the husband and the wives are, because the man, he works, he has things to get accomplished, he has things to do, he has other brethren he fellowships with, and they have to strengthen each other. They're getting a job done. He's trying to get a homestead together, eventually a community together, Yah willing. And so the man is very, very, very busy. And a lot of times the sisters, the wives, are the ones that are together most of the time. It's the wives that are together that are going to be taking care of the children, raising the children, schooling the children. It's the wives that are going to be coming together to making sure the food gets done, the vegetables get harvested, and packed away properly, whether it be canned or whatever the circumstance may be. It's going to be the wives together some of the time in the gardens taking care of certain tasks, the tasks that the man is not taking care of at that time. It's going to be the wives come together to determine, how, certain things of the home is going to be ran. And since they're going to be together that much, they need to have a love for one another, a friendship, a unity. To raise children together, you need to be unified, because these children have to have order. They need to see a proper relationship between sister wives or co-wives. They need to see a proper relationship between the mothers. They don't need to see a bad example of two women coming together, because one day when they get married, since you're an Israelite, they may be in a family or household that has multiple women, and they need to see how sisters get along. Not just that, but in our life, we also plan to have community. And in the community, you have to have a strong bond in the sisterhood, because you got to work together in that. So sisters generally, even when you see biblically, we're supposed to get along. We're supposed to bond. We're supposed to have good relationships with one another. And polygyny is one of the closest relationships you're going to have, because not only is it the sister have the same husband that you have, but y'all share children, y'all share lifestyles, y'all under the same authority. So your union has to be that much stronger. You have to be that much more knitted together. I mean, I don't know if you imagine, but look how the Bible talked about how David and Jonathan were knitted together, and these are two men. Imagine you sisters now coming together under the same household, under the same headship, raising children together. I mean, the most intimate things take place with you two sisters in the same household. How much more knitted together do you think you need to be? So it is very important that, these sisters have a close friendship. And the reason I bring up all of this is to say, because in these emails, one of the things that sisters were avoiding was talking to me. And it's really interesting. My master and I, we discuss these sort of things, like, what's the problem? And we've known certain circumstances. We've been in situations. We know kind of what, some people's sisterhood is. I mean, I had a sister who had interest in my master, and they talked for a little while to see if they wanted to court and to do those sort of things. And she got to know us, decently, and got to talk to the family and stuff. But she did not really like talking to me as much. And when you hear her speak, some of her speech will give away, she felt like, well, I'm going to be marrying this man. I have nothing else to do with you. You just kind of there. And it's like, no, you have a lot to do with me. Yes, you're married to this man, but you're going to have a lot of dealings with me because I'm your sister. I mean, at that point, I would be your sister. We will have a whole lot of things we have to do together and work together to please our master and to help push the vision that the Most High gives him, to help him achieve that. So you can't just block me out of the picture because you kind of want to have this man to yourself without saying it. But that's what we found out. And later on, with more conversation, more interaction, we found out that was just that. That woman really wasn't interested in coming together and unifying the family. She's more interested in, listen, I like this man, I want him, and he gonna be for me, and I'll deal with you only as much as I have to. That's not biblical polygyny, nor is that anything that fits our life and our family and nor my master's vision. That's not what we are having here. So that's why I mentioned things like that. Also, another thing about polygyny that I wanted to discuss, because I've been asked this question, is well, is it your husband that wants polygyny? Because all these polygynous families, it seems like the man, they just push a polygyny. Ever since they, learned they can be polygynous, they want polygyny, and us women feel like that we're forced to be in it. And it's like, no, there's a lot of women out there, that want polygyny also. And not because it just benefits them personally, because, as I look out and see what everyone has to offer in polygyny, I know polygynous families. I've seen and talked to polygynous families, and it's not just the man. He always wants polygyny, and people always think of it because they always think of the sexual side of things, and he just wants he just lustful, or he just want to meet his needs as far as sexually, and that's all he's concerned about. But polygyny is about way more than that, because believe it or not, even in monogamous marriages, sexual things only take place for so long. There's a whole lot more of the hours of the day, every single day, where things have to be done and accomplished. And that's not, sexuality only takes place for so long before you get to business, honestly. So it's not just about that. There's plenty of women, I know some circumstances right where the women wanted this. They saw that their husband may have a need, but also they saw that the family, could use this. But not only that, they weren't just so selfish of, oh, I, as a wife, need a sister wife here because so I could do stuff. A lot of these women out here need a head. A lot of these women out here, this stuff benefits them probably even the more so, because they're the ones that's out there alone. They're the ones out there with no head, no guidance. They're the one out there doing it by themselves and struggling. So this benefits them even the more so. So everyone is getting a benefit out of it. And the best thing out of it is everyone is coming together to better their lives. It's not one person getting the benefit. It's not just the man. It's not just the first wife. It's everyone. Every person in the polygynous family benefits. Benefits in some way or another. And they're coming together, and they now have a family, and they're progressing. So it's not just a one person benefit. It's not just about, oh, all these men just want polygyny for their own desire. No, some polygynous families and some people's circumstances out there should have a polygynous family, because those circumstances, they are in bondage to things because of mistakes that they've made in the past. And sometimes, and I've seen situations already, that a polygynous family would benefit these women out here. Sometimes a polygynous situation would benefit some of these families who are having lots of children and they got a lot of things going on. And that extra hand of help, really goes a long way. You see people now, they're going into communities for that very reason. Communities are coming together and being formed for that very reason, so they can accomplish things, so things can be accomplished and achieved, and so people can progress, and you can do that within a community setting and even in a polygynous setting for your own personal household, as well as, the community as well. So there are many reasons for polygyny. I'm sorry that some people have had bad experiences. I'm not saying that the bad experiences aren't out there, because they are. There are people who are using this for their personal benefit. You can't get away from that. But what you can do, if you're serious and you are about the Most High and you're interested in biblical polygyny, then you have to do what it takes to be in a marriage with someone who is living biblically. and avoid all these game players and make sure you're not a game player yourself. And so, that's the reason why I'm addressing these things. A lot of people ask us questions on this topic, and this topic is it's huge, because no one's really, a lot of people have not lived this before, and or been raised this way. So people are trying to figure out, how do you live this lifestyle the right way? How do you do it the right way? Everyone's learning, and you will come across trial and error, but it doesn't make it any less biblical, and it doesn't make it any less needed for so many people. No one's forcing this lifestyle on everyone, but it's needed for some people. That's just the truth. So this is why I'm okay with discussing this topic. Um, so I'm hoping that I've answered the questions. I kind of discussed a wide range of things. I'm hoping I answered the questions that the sisters were asking me. Also, too, I wanted to give a couple of tips, like how I mentioned in the beginning of the video. If you're interested in joining a polygynous family, I encourage you, sisters, to ask questions. You can't ask too many questions when you're going to join a family, especially if you are an Israelite, because the man runs the home and you are under his headship. And when you join yourself to a family, and especially, the man, knowing that the man runs the household and stuff, you want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, like what type of man he is. If he's biblical, then you better make sure you're biblical, and ask questions. Don't stop asking questions. Ask questions in every way possible, because, well, the last thing you want to do is join yourself to someone, become their wife, and then say, well, I didn't know things were ran this way. Well, I didn't know you were this serious, or I didn't know you felt this way about children, or I didn't know you felt this way about, wives, what they can and cannot do. I didn't know you felt this way about my family. I didn't know you felt this way about the way you run things. In anything, ask questions. You cannot ask enough questions. Ask questions on things you don't even think you have to ask questions on. Do not assume anything, because assuming in this sort of situation can really mess you up. You know what I mean? Like, and let me just give you some examples. Ask the question, do you discipline your children, and how you discipline your children, especially if you're bringing children in the situation. Ask how they feel about children being brought in. Ask. Ask them how they feel about, can they parent your children? Ask the questions about, do you believe in going to the doctor or not? Ask the question of, do you ask questions. I mean, I can't even think of all the questions right now. Ask the questions of, what is your vision? That should be one of the first questions you ask the man. Find out if you and the man is equally yoked. The Bible says you do not be unequally yoked with unlike believers. And some people say, well, I'm an Israelite and you're like, so we're like believers. No. There's a lot of people saying they're Israelites and they still do not believe the same way. So you can still be unequally yoked. So ask the question, ask what the man believes. Get down deep into his belief system and see, do you believe that way? Because the last thing you want to do is, like, you halfway believe that way or you don't believe that way. So then when you get hooked up with a person and then you don't like something that they're doing, then suddenly you're questioning them. Suddenly, there's fights are taking place and things because you really don't believe the way they believe. And then suddenly you don't want to submit because you really didn't believe that way. If you know that the man is the head of the household and he's letting it be known to you, if you can't submit, if you are not going to fall under his vision, then don't join that family. You have to do these sort of things, because a lot of times, and I know sisters who've done this over and over, some sisters feel they're lonely. They want a man so bad. They got some urges they want to deal with, or they got other things they're trying to, deal with, or they're trying to escape their current situation, and they'll join up with a man and be like, yeah, I could do all that you're saying. And once they get there, and the butterflies run out of their stomach, they get some enjoyment there. Suddenly they realize, I actually don't believe all this stuff you saying. I really don't like the fact that you're running everything, and I really don't like the fact that you believe this way, because I want to do things this way, and I really don't like the fact. And then they're questioning, they're causing problems, they're arguing, they're fussing, because they truly didn't even believe it in the first place. They just wanted to fulfill whatever fleshy desire that they had going on. And that stuff wears out and it wears off. And when it wears off, now you have to open up your eyes and say, this is life. This is real life right now. And then you feel like somebody did you wrong. No, you didn't ask questions. and you lied to yourself because you knew you didn't believe this way. If you don't believe in the things that the man believed in, you need to be honest with yourself, and maybe that's not the family for you, so ask questions. You can't ask enough questions. I'm telling you, ask questions about everything. Ask the man what's your role in his family. Ask where do you fit in the family. Like how do you fit into his vision. Ask how can you be a help. Ask him about things you're going to be doing. So that way you are fully aware of your role, of your position, what you're going to be doing. Ask him the relationship you would like to see between you and your co-wife. Ask him those questions. Ask the wife those questions. Ask how she feels about the situation. So that way, you will fully have a full understanding. There's no, where you feel like you've been tricked or deceived in any way because you didn't ask enough questions. You can never ask enough questions. So that's the tip. That's the biggest tip I want to give, you sisters out there. If you're going to do it, ask questions. Ask a lot of them. Don't stop asking questions because you are putting your whole life into another person's hand. And if you have a child, you are putting your whole life into that person's hands and following them as they follow Yah, especially if you're an Israelite. The man is the head. Yes, you have your own personal relationship with the father. You're supposed to have one, but the man is running the family. And you are bringing you and your child's life, or you yourself, into that family. And now you have a head. And now there's going to be a certain type of structure, a certain type of order, and things in your life is going to change. You're not going to be living the same way you're used to out there, being single and doing things the way you want to do them. It's not going to be that way anymore. You're not going to be able to wake up and just do things how you want to do it. You're going to be doing things how your husband, your master, wants you to do it. And if you're not used to that, it can be uncomfortable at first. You're used to getting up at a certain time, and you're used to your child being able to do certain things, and then suddenly you join a family and he runs his house totally different. He's like, no, I don't want this child doing that. I want this child being on board with the way the family is running. I don't want you waking up and being on your phone all day. No, I want you to get up and take care of these things. Things will be different. So it is so important that you ask these questions ahead of time and make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into before you get into a situation. So that's a tip that I wanted to give you all. Also, one more tip I would like to give, is anyone who's looking to join polygyny. And the reason, like I said, I'm telling you this because sisters are asking to join my family. And I'm telling you now, ask these questions. If you're interested in our family, I'm interested in a sister wife. But you know what? I'm not interested in someone who is not going to ask these questions, because the last thing, we need to even have here is we're trying to live in righteousness and holiness. We're about serving the Most High. Yeah, we're about righteousness. We're about holiness. We're about family. We're big on family. And the last thing I need is a sister who wanted to join my family because she had issues with she's tired of being alone. And so she rushed into a situation, didn't ask any questions, and then create a problem here. And got connected to the children we have, and now we have to unconnect you to these children, and the children are hurt, and we're hurt. We don't need that, so ask questions. So, this is for whether it was my family or whether it was someone else's family. Ask questions so that way you know what you're getting yourself into. Don't assume nothing, because assumptions will make a fool out of you. Don't make any assumptions. You ask as many questions as you think you need to ask. And if you can't even think of questions, ask somebody else what other questions I need to ask. I mean, you can ask me what questions you need to ask. I don't know. Or whoever you're talking to, or whatever family you're considering. You want to ask these questions. Another thing is, a lot of sisters, they want to be in polygynous marriages, and they are actually not secure or have security in themselves, and they'll try to put all their insecurities off on the next person. So right now, I'm just gonna, this is just a tip from me. You ain't gotta take it from me. But honestly, if you're gonna go into a polygynous family, you need to have some security about yourself, because you can't be insecure and then put your insecurity off on the family or on the first wife or on somebody else and create a problem that isn't there. And the real problem is because you haven't worked with what's going on in you. And that's a tip for a first wife or a co-wife or a wife coming in. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we've had an experience where a sister wanted to join our family, and she seemed to be okay. And I mean, every 10 seconds, okay, not literally every 10 seconds, but often this sister will say, do you really like me? Do you really want me here? I don't know if you really want me here. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I started to get very annoyed with that sister. And it started to really, really disturb me because I'm fine. I feel good. I'm for polygyny. I'm for biblical marriage. I didn't have an issue. I don't have an issue. I haven't even actually thought about all those different things. I just know that, hey, if there's an interest in it's Yah's will, then it's so shall it be. It's going to be done. I wasn't interested in all that other stuff. I wasn't critiquing this sister. I wasn't looking at her like, I really don't want you here. My mind was on far other things. I got 5 children. I have a household to run. Whether another sister here or not, my life goes on. I have to run, the household, my master household properly. I have lots to learn. I have lots of things to do. I don't have time to be sitting here critiquing this sister on every little thing that she has going on. No, that's what when her and my master is talking, they'll figure those things out. And when it's my time to be involved in something, it is, I am, my master lets me know. But, to have somebody constantly tell you, do you really want me here? Are you sure you like polygyny? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? After a while, I had to tell this sister, you need to check and see what your motives are, what your intent is. Do you really want polygyny? Are you in it for the right reason? Are you looking and seeking this for the right reason? What are your insecurities? You need to look at them because you're putting off your emotions on me. And I, like I said, I did start to get kind of annoyed. It was one of those things where I'm like, I she needs to fix that. That's something that needs to be fixed. Because I don't want a problem that's not there. I don't want us creating problems that's not there. So I hope these tips were useful. Of course, I didn't give like a whole list of tips because honestly, if you ask questions, I'll tell you it will cover a lot. Just that alone will cover a lot. Preparing yourself for what it is like to be transitioned from being single into a family, whether be married and it's a monogamous marriage or be married to a polygamous marriage. That transition. Make sure you sisters are preparing yourselves. If you already know you're trying to get married or be in a polygamous situation, start working on your transition now because you're not gonna live the way you once lived before. Like I said before, please ask questions. I hope this video was helpful. I hope, sister, you know who you are. I hope I answered your questions because I've had so many thoughts on this topic. I've been asked this question a lot. I've been asked to remake the video I did 2 years ago in Arizona, and I just have not really had the time, nor do I like speaking on topics if I don't have enough information. I like to speak on the things that I have some knowledge in. I do not like just idly talking about something. So I hope from my own experiences, even if I don't tell every single person what my experiences are, I hope that, this information was able to help you because I am speaking from it, certain experiences that I have, certain knowledge that I have. And if I don't have knowledge in the area, I'm not going to talk about it. So, and so I hope this video helped. I try to make sure I talk about things that I have knowledge in, things that I have experience in, things that I've learned over the years so that you can be edified. And I leave topics that I have nothing about, I leave it to those who have the wisdom and the knowledge. I leave that to them so that they can edify you and even edify me. Blessing to all you daughters of Zion out there. I hope you're having a blessed day. I hope you've been productive. I hope this video helps somebody. Bless you and shalom.